I can't lie, I was really expecting Japan versus Nigeria to be a one-sided blowout, but after seeing these character designs, I've got serious doubts now. They look way too clean to go scoreless, and I wouldn't be surprised if they bag at least 2 goals in the opener. What's going on everyone, my name is Animasu, and today we're breaking down the official release of Blue Lock Chapter 312 titled Into the U20 World Cup. If you're just as hyped for this arc as I am and you don't want to miss a single match, make sure to subscribe and turn on post notifications, and if you want to talk Blue Lock with me or the rest of the community, feel free to drop a comment or join the Discord server down below. With all that said, let's jump right into the chapter, and I hope you all have a great day. Blue Lock Chapter 312 opens with Isagi lacing up his cleats and taking a deep breath, mentally locking himself in and reminding himself to focus on this one match ahead. He knows what his role is and who he needs to be right now, a machine for goals. But this time there's more on the line. Isagi isn't just trying to score anymore, he's trying to help lead Japan to the top of the world, and for that, he has to become something even bigger than just a striker. A magical girl. Nah, I'm just kidding, that's reserved for Bado. The scene then shifts as the stadium lights up, and in a massive double spread, we get a look at the scale of this event. The crowd is going wild, and the pitch has a giant FIFA logo on it, with the fans waving glow sticks in every direction as the announcers start hyping up the walkouts. I did notice something interesting in the crowd though. There are 3 Isagi jerseys, 2 Itoshi Rain jerseys, and 1 Batsuro jersey, and while it might be a coincidence, it could also be teasing who will score in this ongoing Nigeria match. It could just be random, but let me know in the comments what you all think. Will these 3 be the ones to score for Japan, or will Bado and Shida need some time on the pitch? The announcers begin with the goalkeeper, and stepping out first onto the field is none other than Gingai Gamaru. Of course Fukakugen's ass was not starting. Fireworks shoot off behind him as the crowd chants his name, calling him their defensive god, and this whole thing feels like some Olympic level production. Next up are the 3 center backs, and starting the trio is the official captain of Blue Lock Japan, Oliver Aiku. I was a little surprised at first that they didn't make Isagi the captain for narrative reasons, but I guess it does make sense. Aiku was already the leader of the U20 team before, and even though they lost, Ego probably sees the potential in him to grow into that role even more. He's also, not a crash out like Isagi and Rin. Aryu and Nico step up beside him, officially locking in Italy's backline once again. Nico even gets referred to as the brain of the defense, so I wouldn't be surprised if Ego's been training him to lead communication and call out shifts mid-game. I mean, just think about it. He was already shifting in and out with Lorenzo, Mark Snuffy was his coach, and he has metavision. Either way, it's a strong defensive core all around, and I'm really curious to see how they'll hold up against Nigeria's top players and physical pressure. Just as they're about to announce the wingbacks, the scene cuts to fans piling into the stadium, and walking through the crowd alone is Nagi Seishiro. He's not wearing a jersey, doesn't have a number, and is completely unrecognized by the people around him, which really sells the fact that he's no longer part of Blue Lock. As he moves through the crowd, he starts thinking about what Igaguri told him last chapter, that he's been running away from his own desires and gave up on the philosophy that Ego taught him. That conversation must have stuck with him, because Nagi starts to realize that he fell off his path by chasing something that wasn't even his own goal. But instead of going back, he says that he needs to find something new, something that actually matters to him. Back in the stadium, the announcers finally get to the wingback, starting with Chigiri Hyoma taking the right side. And I'm sorry, but why did we go through all of the Manshrine City arc just to throw him on the right? I get that he's supposed to bomb up the wing and create chaos from wide areas, but Chigiri could have done the same thing on the left, and Hiyori could have slotted in on the right. Speaking of which, Hiyori is confirmed as the left side back. People are over-exaggerating that, oh, Chigiri being on the right is bad, Hiyori being on the left is wrong, but overall, it's not that big of a deal. It might just be the team that they're playing against, and also, Hiyori does like cutting into his right before passing and dribbling, so it might be because of that. Also, we're gonna get my wish in the U20 World Cup, inverted wingers baby. We then cut back to Nagi again, this time sprinting through the halls of the facility, weaving through the crowd as he keeps repeating to himself that going back to Blue Lock isn't the answer. He says that even though it hurts, even though it's awkward, losing helped him understand more about himself, his reality and what he actually craves. And now, what he wants more than anything is to figure out the source of that fire inside of him. He runs straight past one of the guards trying to stop him, and as more security start chasing him and calling him back up, Nagi says that the fire in him wasn't just about the sport, it was about something deeper than that. Finally, we return to the pitch just in time for the midfielders to be introduced. Karasu Tabita was first up, holding out his hand like he's trying to aura farm for all the MILFs in the crowd while stepping out onto the field. Right behind him is Reo Mikage, who ties up his hair mid-walk and takes his place as the team's right midfielder. It's a pretty poetic moment as Reo was the one who brought Nagi into Blue Lock, and now here he is on the main stage while Nagi's in the off-brand Blue Lock trying to rebuild himself. It does make me a bit sad, but you just gotta have faith in the lazy genius and plot, of course. As Nagi keeps sprinting through the stadium, memories of Reo start start flashing in his head, from when they first met, to the matches they dominated together, to even the painful moments where everything fell apart. He realizes now that everything started to go wrong the moment he tried to force himself to get fired up by staying beside Ryo. Back then, his entire motivation was just to be near him, to keep that duo alive, but now Nagi sees that mindset held him back. He needs a new reason to play, a new purpose to chase, and something that actually belongs to him. And right as that thought lands, the scene cuts back to the field with Batsura being announced as a left midfielder. Batsura hits Lavinio's signature pose on stage like it's his second nature now, and it's really wholesome and sweet moment. The Masters were basically father figures to them, minus Loki's bum ass of course. He had one son, and that was Charles. Then we move on to the final two names of the starting lineup, the strikers up front. First, the announcers call out the strongest striker in Blue Lock, the one and only Itoshi Rin. As expected, Rin walks out with zero emotion and doesn't even glance at the crowd. This guy is locked in. But right as this happens, Nagi approaches the VIP floor and starts thinking again. He realizes he doesn't want to return to Blue Lock, and it's not even about trying to rekindle some rivalry with Isagi. That's not enough to reignite the fire. With that thought, Nagi throws open the VIP door, and all the rich old executives turn their head as he walks in. Among them is Baratsura, and the moment Nagi sees him, things finally start to click. He's been saying this whole time that he didn't just want to come back to Blue Lock easily or fight Isagi again, but now he finally understands what his ego really is. As Isagi is announced on the field as the final forward, walking out beside Itoshi Rin, we see him mimicking Noel Noah's stance just like Batsura did with Lavinio. I already know Noel Noah is so proud watching on TV. The top two forwards of Blue Lock are on the field together, both stepping into this match carrying the future of Japan on their backs. Back in the VIP box, Nagi clenches his fist and finally admits the truth to himself. His ego, the fire he's been chasing. It comes from the feeling of being at the center of everything. That moment after a perfect play where the whole world feels like it's watching him, praising him, celebrating his genius. That feeling is what he lives for. It's not about winning with someone else or living in someone else's shadow. He wants to be the one shining, the one that everyone's looking at. And for that, he says that he would sacrifice everything. As he steps forward and approaches Baratsura, Nagi asks if he still has a seat open for the Side B program. With his skull aura wrapping back around him and that dead serious glare in his eyes, he declares that he could destroy even Blue Lock to reach the top. Baratsura immediately smiles, probably realizing he's just found his perfect wild card to counter Ego Jinpachi. Nagi says he wants to become the best player in the entire world no matter the cost, and from the look in his eyes, that man means every word. Right after that, we get an incredible double spread showing off the Nigerian national team in full. The only one we get a name for is their forward, ONAZI, but there are three other major players shown beside him. One guy has tinted goggles and looks heavily inspired by Edgar Davids, which is honestly a fire reference by the author. Another is crouched down and looks like an unpredictable type, which might be a trickster like Charles. And then there's this massive dude standing with his arms stretched out, who I originally thought might be their goalkeeper from the leaks, but since his jersey doesn't look any different in the officials, he's probably just a massive defender. Let me know in the comments which of these designs stands out to you the most, and what kind of roles or archetypes you think these guys are gonna play. I also have heard from some of my Nigerian friends that ONAZI is most likely a shortened name or nickname, as is ISO, which we see on the back of one's jersey. It's just a common thing they do in Nigeria, I guess. The chapter closes with ONAZI shouting towards Blue Lock, telling them to make the first match a crazy one. And in response, we see Isagi grinning back as the kickoff begins. He doesn't hesitate for even a second, and says straight up that he will keep moving towards becoming the best in the world, no matter who's in front of him. Before we close out, let's look ahead to next week on July 29th, as Blue Lock chapter 313 will officially drop then with the title of Opening Warriors. I'm expecting the game to explode off the whistle, kind of like we saw in the PXG match. And here's a wild thought, real life Nigeria's U20 team actually has a reputation for scoring early. The Flying Eagles even hold 2 of the 3 fastest goals in U20 World Cup history. And when I mean fast, I mean one was in 9.6 seconds and another was in 18. Next chapter could quite literally start with a goal, so quote me on this when it happens. If Blue Lock mirrors the real world, Nigeria could shock everyone with a quick opening goal and throw Japan into despair in minute 1 of this tournament. I mean, we did just watch Bunny Iglesias score an insanely fast opening goal in the Copa del Rey finals a couple chapters ago, so nothing's really off the table here. No matter what happens, drop your predictions in the comments below, because I always love reading through everyone's takes and seeing what wild theories you come up with. And with that, we're wrapping up today's video. If you're super excited for the U20 World Cup arc, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on post notifications so you don't miss anything. If you want to dive deeper into theories or just chat Blue Lock with the community, feel free to drop a comment or join the Discord server link down below. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one shortly.